I was 19 years old when I discovered I was face blind. Or, to be more accurate, when I discovered that other people were not. Face blindness or prosopagnosia is the inability to remember or recognize others by their faces, even familiar faces. When you are face blind, voices become important. You learn to recognize people in different ways: posture, style, haircut, glasses, walk, the way they hold their bodies in the world, but mostly by the sound of their voice. I'd have a hard time describing the voice of someone I love to you. It might be easier for me to say, oh, they're this tall, they wear these kinds of clothes, they act like this. But if I heard them across a busy space, full of sounds, theirs would cut through instantly. Maybe you know this feeling. Like so many people, I always hated the sound of my own voice. I'm told this is because the resonance of your skull makes your own voice sound different to you, fuller, deeper, more sure. When listening back to a recording, you are suddenly flattened and thinned, a cheap imitation of the voice you know is your own. I also have a slight stutter, which you wouldn't guess listening to this. I've generally controlled it by scrubbing the words that cause it from my vocabulary, but it didn't duplicate here regardless. Maybe this phenomenon when encountering a recording of yourself is similar to the shock that is felt seeing your face unmirrored, the way in which others see you instead of the way you look at yourself every morning. I wouldn't know, unable to hold the image of my own face in my mind. But despite some general discomfort with my own voice, I love reading aloud. The surety of pronouncing a written script, of adding emphasis in just the right place, of pausing for dramatic effect, of never stumbling or inserting an or having to stop to gather your thoughts, because it is all on the page. I'm not always good in conversation, but I do like to make noise with my body. That leaves reading. Right after I found out about my face blindness, I did some reading for LibriVox. LibriVox, if you don't know, is a repository for free, public domain audiobooks. You can volunteer to read chapters of books no longer under copyright, which are then uploaded for others to listen to. The media you record for LibriVox also goes back into the public domain, free for any use, which is how my voice ended up in the LibriSpeech dataset, about 1,000 hours of segmented and aligned audio taken from LibriVox, which is popular in AI training. It is hard to know how many times the LibriSpeech dataset has been downloaded and used, but the associated white paper from 2015, LibriSpeech, an AS or corpus based on public domain audiobooks, has been cited in other papers over 1,300 times. Each chapter begins.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.